Hey guys, so I just finished the new Netflix original film Death Note. It actually just started streaming not even 2 hours ago, and I just finished it, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. So, Death Note, for those of you who don't know, is based off of a manga and an anime show, and it follows a high schooler named Light who comes across a book known as the Death Note, and along with that, he meets the death god Ryuk, and Ryuk explains to him whoever's name you write in the book will die, and you get to decide, when and how. But all you need to know is what they look like and what their true name is. So Light starts using the book to become basically a death god known as Kira, which it means killer in Japanese. And while he's doing that, the majority of the world is thinking, he's the new Messiah. But there are a few people who want to see Kira brought to justice, including Light's own father, who is a police officer, and the world's greatest detective known as L. Now first let's talk about Light. He's played by Nat Wolff, and for those of you who've seen that really old Nickelodeon show Naked Brothers Band, he was the lead singer, the bigger brother. And he's not good in this. I didn't believe one bit of his performance, and even if his performance was good, it's still a miscast. I mean, I gave up on him right when he met Ryuk because right when he shows up, he just starts screaming, running into shit, beating on the windows, and it didn't feel like the Light that I had discovered a month and a half ago when I actually saw the original, not manga, anime for the first time. So I was extremely disappointed on that part. And then, of course, who everybody talks about from the trailers, Willem Dafoe voices Ryuk, who is a Japanese god of death, a Shinigami. Or, I don't think that they actually mention it in the actual show, but that's what they call it in the manga and the anime. But he's a completely CGI character, and I'll get to how he looks a little bit later when I talk about the visuals. But Willem Dafoe's great. He was born to play this role. The only issue that I had, honestly, was that he was actually a bit underutilized. He wasn't. I don't know. They put way too much focus on Light and his girlfriend, who I'll talk about in a second. But that's the only complaint that I have with this version of Ryuk, is that he's underutilized. We also have Margaret Qualley playing Mia Sutton, who in this version is Light's love interest and his kind of ally once he imparts to her that he is Kira. And she's a horrible version of Misa, let's just say that, except, there's more of an emotional connection between Light and Mia than there were between Light and Misa. But she's bad too, because, I don't know, just the way that she handled everything just felt wrong, and I honestly couldn't feel any emoting the entire time. Not only that, just the character I felt was written a little too just wrong. It felt weird that she was so sadistic from the start. I mean, and it actually felt like she was too quick to jump on the bandwagon with Kira. That's just my opinion, though. And then one character that a lot of people, especially, scratch that. Now, the one character that everybody complained about, yeah, sure, they all complained about the way that Light looked with the little frosted tips and just, Nat Wolff playing him, because that was bad casting in the first place. The one character that everybody who had read the manga and who are familiar with the anime, they were all worried about Light, the world's greatest detective, because he's been seen as a reclusive. We don't even see him in the anime until like maybe a couple of episodes down, and the reveal is kind of interesting because he doesn't seem to be what you think he'd be. Like, everybody reveres him as the world's greatest detective, and hold on, let me push this back. But I gotta fix this. But when they first meet him, he's just He's just a pale white kid sitting on a chair like this while eating like gummy bears and shit. And you know, he's just very timid and very awkward. But that's the thing. He was really cool about it, and he just exuded confidence and intelligence. And I will admit, or I'll actually get to that in a second. Sorry, I didn't give myself time to prepare for this, but let me see if I can get this out. A lot of people were very disappointed in how he was shown in the trailers because he basically just looked like a ninja, and you didn't get to see the quirkiness of him. He seemed way too confident. But I actually will say, I really liked this version of L. I still think that the anime version is superior, but this was a really good L. He's played by Keith Stanfield, who a lot of us know from Get Out. He's the black guy from the party, or if you've seen Get Out, he's the black guy from the party that Daniel Kaluuya's character actually spots and figures, you know, why is he here? This makes no sense. But anyway, he was great in Get Out. He is really, really good in Death Note. The only way that I would say that this version is faithful to the original Japanese anime is that it keeps the black comedy aspect to it. I would say that's probably it. I mean, there were a lot of things about the story that really pissed me off, and the first one was that when he comes up with the name Kira, because he's American. Oh yeah, by the way, this is set in America for some reason, so that takes pretty much most of the Japanese part out of it, and they Americanized and whitewashed this thing, like, just to the fucking top. Well, not including this version of L. But when he comes up with the name Kira, he explains that it's another name for light in like Celtic or Irish or some other language, and then he said it kind of means killer in Japanese, and that actually really pissed me off. That and the way that everything was written, a lot of the characters weren't even that compelling, not like in the anime. I mean, Light doesn't come across as one of the most gifted students in his grade or even in the area, and his father didn't feel like that one cop who's, you know, just, he believes in his badge. He actually believes in doing the right thing and upholding the law. Instead, he does have those elements, but he comes more across as a dick. And not to mention the fact, one thing that I thought was really weird, because in the anime, Light lives with his father, mother, and sister. He has no sister, and his mother, it's actually explained early that she was murdered. I don't really understand why they did that. I get that they didn't necessarily need the mother, maybe, but I don't know, it irked me. One of the reasons why Death Note was so impactful to people and is so popular is because it asks really tough questions like, you know, who deserves to die, you know, who would actually pull it off and how should they go about it, and what crimes constitute instant karma. But this version, it doesn't take the time to actually answer the questions. All the questions just get lost within the very, I don't know, it's mostly the clunky dialogue. It's bad. I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish this up, because honestly my thoughts are very jumbled. But I just wanted to get out the video really quickly. The visual effects are pretty good, especially for what is basically a TV movie, and I actually really like Ryuk's design. Ryuk's design. It's not, I don't like it as much as I do the original anime, but it does look good. I especially love his Cheshire Cat sort of smile. And then the music's decent. Like the score, I wasn't listening to the score too much, but it just made me think of a standard electronica musical score. And then the soundtrack was littered with a bunch of 80s hits. Like, most of them not too popular, except for, like, maybe Berlin's Take My Breath Away. But they occurred at some of the weirdest moments, and they honestly took away from some of the scenes where I should have felt emotion. I just couldn't take them seriously because of that damn music. All in all, this version of Death Note is a pretty mixed bag. I mean, I'm mixed on the acting and how the characters are written. Although mostly I would say the characters are written kind of bleh. The story, it's just, there's nothing original about it, and if anything, they took out some of the best parts of the anime and the manga, so it suffers for that. The visual effects are pretty good, like I said, for a TV movie, and music's like substandard and kind of annoying. So for that, I am going to give this version of Death Note a 1.5 out of 5 reels. It's just, I didn't enjoy it. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and just listening to me ramble for a little bit. I know it was a little jumbled, it's just that it's a mixture of I'm tired and also I just wanted to get this out of the way so I could go to sleep. But, yeah, that'll just be it for me. Thanks once again for watching and farewell until the next video. Bye.